Excuse the interruption. I'm Jesse Vogt. Christian, Victoria's Secret has reported their best Christmas sales season of all time. Do you think the lingerie recession is finally over?
I'm Christian Colvang. The end is in sight, but I can't claim any credit for their success. I've been banned from their store since last Valentine's Day.
You didn't get caught shoplifting again, did you?
No, they just didn't like the fact that I'd wear things once and then return them for a refund. Hello boys and girls, on this episode of Excuse the Interruption we have What Are the Odds, Mail Time, but as always we'll start off with headlines. Jesse, will the Bearcat teams be able to recover from the sickness and injuries this season?
From what I've heard, there are many people from the basketball teams either sick or injured. Seeing the girls team play against Lakota and the boys shoot against Drayton, I would say both teams are in a little bit of trouble.
Oh come on, you can't judge us just from one game.
It's not just one game. I've seen you guys in practice. Some days I wonder if you guys are playing basketball or if you were just daydreaming of when Heidelbach dunked twice on you in one game.
In our defense, the ball was slippery, so it was kind of hard to pass. I'd like to see you out there and try to play with us. Oh wait, I have. I think I remember last week when you tried a behind-the-back pass and had a better chance of hitting the fourth row of bleachers than going to one of your teammates.
That's a work in progress. You guys, on the other hand, have been playing together for a while now, and it's time to start looking like one of the best teams in state.
As soon as you shave that thing on your face you call a beard.
Christian, is the Bison football team as good as it was last year?
I'm not one of those people that have jumped on the Bison bandwagon, so I've never thought they were very good. But watching some of their games this year, they are 10 times worse than the Bison teams of the past. Carson Wentz may have a better arm than Brock Jensen, but take a look at how many rings Jensen has and tell me who you want running your offense.
You make a good point, but this year we have so many offensive threats. John Crockett is one of the best running backs in the country. Add in an improved passing game, we should win our 4th national championship in a row.
Do you say we because you think you're a part of the herd? That's what's wrong with Bison fans. Oh, we can't cheer for the Sioux because we're Bison strong. But when Sioux fans decide not to cheer for the herd, you aren't considered from North Dakota. Give me a break.
Don't make me report you for saying the UNDA nickname.
What are you going to do? Sue me?
Christian, how do you think the beginning of girls' basketball season is shaking out?
Well, from watching our girls play, it looks as if we might have a tough go-around with trying to replace the seniors we lost last year. But going around the state, it looks as if Shiloh and Minot Ryan will be the two teams meeting each other in the end.
Yeah, Minot Ryan has put it to some very good teams as of late. And Shiloh's got a couple good girls in that. J2 Bears, did you hear she's getting D1 looks?
I'd seen on preps that she was getting looked at by some Texas schools such as Texas A&M, and it also said she was getting looked at by Gonzaga, but I don't know if I can believe everything they put on preps. I mean, they also said I wasn't one of the best dunkers in the state, but I got one already this year.
Totally understandable.
Jesse, do you think the NFL has handled the Andrea Peterson and Ray Rice scandals correctly?
To a certain extent, I do. You always hear a whole bunch of different things in the news about, now he's looking to sue the NFL for, he was promised that he was going to be able to play again. Sometimes you don't know what's true and what isn't true, but, I agree with his punishment. He beat a kid, and, he's serving the time for it.
Looking into what I've seen on SportsCenter and everything, I think it's really fair what he's getting. Just because if you're trying to come back from a domestic abuse type of thing, because you've seen all the commercials now that are out about it, how it affects all certain kinds of people. If you're coming back from an abuse where you're abusing a kid, not only it's one thing if it's an adult, but if you're abusing one of your own children, that's something that you shouldn't be able to recover from.
Most definitely.
We'll take a short break, and coming up next, we'll have What Are the Odds? And now it's time for What Are the Odds? Kristen, what's the first question?
What are the odds that Minot Ryan goes undefeated this season?
I'm going to go with 80%. I think Minot Ryan girls, with their tradition, their overall record, the way they intimidate other teams, I think they're going to run the table.
I'll have to disagree with you, and I'm going to go with 20%, just because they'll have to play Shanley this year, and Shanley's very tough coming back with Sarah Jacobson, who's only a sophomore or junior, I think, and she averaged 28 points last year. And they also have somebody that can match up with them down low in Olivia Fraz. Next question, Kristen.
What are the odds that the North Star boys will have at least 2 dunkers?
I'm going to say very high. I'm going to say around 90%. Just because I've got a legitimate dunk already against Benson County, and Jaden somewhat had a dunk over in Starkweather. And even if you don't count Jaden's, we're probably going to get one when Alex comes back.
I'm going to have to disagree with you and go quite low on, and maybe 10%. You've got a legitimate dunk against Benson County, but there's no way you can count the Grant Lindahl rim grab that Jaden had in Starkweather. And I don't think he could ever do it again in a game. Maybe next year, but not this year. So that leaves it up to Alex. Alex has been 6'6" since junior high, and he's never dunked it. So if he does come back from injury, I don't see it happening.
Oh, come on. Alex could dunk it easily. You should have seen him in summer open gym.
Yeah, in practice and open gym, but during an actual game, Alex gets a little...
Wimpy?
Thank you. Alex swimps out in game time and doesn't take it hard to the basket, so I'm sticking with 10%.
Let's on to the next question.
What are the odds that the girls will beat Lakota in a rematch?
I'm going to have to go 40%. It's possible that it could happen, but we've got a long ways to go right now.
I'm going to go a little bit higher, but not much. I'm going to go 43%, just because I think if we can really band together and really figure out what type of offense will really get us going, I think we can pull it out against Lakota in the region championship. Last question, Kristen, what is it?
What are the odds that the boys win the Ramsey County tournament?
Going into the Ramsey County tournament, I think it'll come down to North Star and 4 wins once again, where it always comes down to. But this year, I think 4 wins is going to take it once again, just because we haven't gelled quite as well as a team that we need to be, and I think the loss of Alex will really affect us.
I'm going to have to agree with you. I'll put this at about 50% right now, because I think it's still up in the air. It could go either way. It depends on who's going to bring their A game that night. And as Coach Hagler says, we're still on the climb right now. We don't want to be too good too early.
Well, Christian didn't give us a percentage. Back to you guys.
Time for a short break, and coming up next, we'll have mail time. Welcome back, and now it's
mail time.
CC 1981 asks, what colleges have been interested in Alex for basketball or football this year?
I think there's been a couple in the area that have, contacted him. I've heard UND Presentation College came for football, but it sounds like he has decided to go to Lake Region next year for basketball.
Hoop 711 asks, what's the reason for the 34% team field goal shooting by the boys?
We have not started shooting the ball very well this year. Luckily, I don't know if it can get much worse. But I think a couple reasons. We come down, we're a little too jacked up maybe during some of these games, and we're rushing our shots. We're maybe not looking for that perfect shot every time down the court.
And now it's time for the big finish.
Christian, how's Jake Hagler's progress going at Jamestown?
Well, so far this season, he started all but I think 2 or 3 games due to sickness. That he had mono at the beginning of the year, so that held him back quite a bit. But ever since then, he started every single game, and he's averaged double digits in almost every single one of those games. Mr. Vogt, the new banner is up. What do you think of it?
It would have been better if you would have tucked your shirt in.
But it was Mr. Peterson's shirt, first of all, and I thought he probably wouldn't want his shirt tails mixing around with my boys down there.
Christian, who do you have for the Super B-Day? Boys, North Star Partial, girls, North Star Bishop Ryan.
In the boys game, I'm going to have to go with North Star just because I think we'll get out of our shooting funk that we've been in lately, and I think we'll pull together and have a really nice game. In the girls, it's really tough to go against Minot Ryan.
Christian, for once, I'm going to have to agree with you.
That's it for this episode. We'll try and do better next time. Good night, knuckleheads.
Good night, Can Do.